Okay, this whole process I'm going to do will be extremely janky at first. So this may require some patience or require some video editing, but I'm too lazy to edit the video, so we'll just require patience. So I got the OCR going because I want to try to use it on this. But the OCR, as you know, is a very finicky thing. So this might take some restarting and so on. So the first thing I want to do is try to figure out what the skip mode text actually reads as. And this is blue background roughly, so this should work roughly with the Ever 17 Xbox settings. So let me try to translate this with the OCR. This may not work because sometimes the OCR breaks if you don't use it soon enough after opening it. So this is not binarized well at all. Okay, so for some reason the saturation max was set really low. Let me try translating this again. Red only. Okay, so this is actually the mode I want. Is red only. So the mode I had it at the end was actually the correct mode. This is all of it. And this is unread auto. Okay, that's interesting. For some reason that didn't auto skip though. It didn't actually work. So I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on with that. But this mode right here is red only. So this one should skip red only. Okay. Now, right, if I put it into real Google Translator, yeah, it's red only. So I can also use the OCR to translate the choice text, which will help me a bit as I continue down the Renmaru route and try to figure out what the choice text says. Now, next thing to do is to find the hotkey that actually does the skipping. It's outing me as yesterday. It says playing this 2 days in a row. Okay, load this. So let me actually read the choice. Okay, so the first option gets blicked because one of them gets. Maybe I can try to change the OCR settings so it's better. Okay, try that. How do you know about us? How did you find us? But the last thing didn't show up at all because it's now blue, right? So that's... Okay. Now can I get the bottom row? No. Okay, so the blue text is inaccessible as far as I can deal with the OCR. Can I do an invert? No. Great. So what I'll do is I'll select the blue text and see what the response to it is. And to do that, I'll use the textractor. Eventually. Was what I picked the first time, right? Oh, I have just the translation window in my way. Okay, why'd you bring me here? Why bring me here? Why do you know about us? Figure out what the first one is. Now, I'm going to try to figure out which key actually does this skipping the red only. Because left control skips, but it's the force skip. And it skips when you hold it down. It doesn't go into skip mode. So, numpad enter.
頼みたいことがあるからだ。だが、
So that...
それは最後でいいだろう。まだ他に知りたいことがあるだろう。
Okay. So, because there's something I'd like to ask you, but I think it's fine for the last time. Is there anything else you want to know? Okay, so that just advances the text. Numpad plus. That stops, okay. Now it's in skip mode. Interesting. So numpad plus is a sort of skip mode. Let me try to turn off that. What does this mean? I never got this set of options before. Translate this. Oh, come on, OCR. Translate that. Work. Do I want to finish the game? No, I don't want to end the game. Finish probably means end. No. Okay, load. Why will it not let me load? Okay. I'm gonna save a junk file. I guess it doesn't let you load on a choice. Let me hit this again. Okay. So what does plus do?
マイナから聞いてないのか？不確定だからだよ。
Okay, so stop sign on red. So numpad plus appears actually to be the skip. There might be more controls, but I know numpad plus is indeed the skip. Okay. And now I know what setting to do. So that's going to made my last recording a bit messed up because I didn't have stop on unread, so I had to just kind of assume there wasn't really a whole lot of unread that would happen that was important in the trunk. But now I think I got it now. I think I got the stop on unread to work. So now let's load the actual thing. Which is 57. Yes. Okay, so let me translate the choices again. My saturation max is all messed up. Okay. How'd you know about us is the second choice, is the first one. 2 is how did you find us? Yeah, in this case, I would want to pick why'd you bring me here. That's the most appropriate choice to make. So yeah, I'm going to make that for my 57th choice. And I'm going to
頼み
skip.
たいことがあるからだ。だが、
Okay, but it stopped here, which I guess this isn't read yet or something. Because there's something I'd like to ask you, but I think it's fine for the last time, or whatever that means. What does the Google Translate says? Because there's something I'd like to ask you, but that can be the last thing. Okay, is there anything you'd like to know? And then I try to translate these with the OCR. What's your body like in this world? Is a top one. Why did time stop? Okay. One, two, why did time stop? And then the third one, we can't really OCR because it's covered, it's all blue highlighted. So let's pick it and see what he asks. How do I return to the original world? And this makes sense. Did I put a save there though? So this is one I want to pick, although I probably didn't put a save. So I gotta remember to go do that. No. Yes.
頼みたいことがあるからだ。だが、それは最後でいいだろ。まだ他に知り
I
たい
guess
こ
this
と
one
が
doesn't
あ
get
るだろ
skipped。because it's a choice. And then I put a save. No, I put it here. Okay. Pick this.
原因が分かれば、おのずと答えは知れるだろ
Okay. If you know the cause, you know the answer. You want to return to the original world immediately, please answer.
う。まだ、その時ではないということだ。
It's not the time yet. At that time?
少しだけお前を持ち上げてやろう。お前には、その時が来る。
I'll lift you up just a
そういう
bit.
ことだ。
Your time will come. That's what it is. Well, okay.
いずれ会うことになる。会ってもらわなければ困る。
I'm not using that right. Like, it's just complicated how you use the skip. Okay, so we chose this, which is how do I return to the original world, right? Then I hit this and it stops. Then I hit this and it skips. Okay. Then there we go. That stopped it. Okay, so now the OCR won't help me because this is not white enough. So I just gotta put a save for it. And then just read the answers. So OCR doesn't really work that well for the for this because the one that you've already chosen is hard to pick up because of that blue tint. Actually, that goes into 59. Okay. What's this do? Are there any other humans? Okay. Okay, and the second one is... $59. Why are there no people or creatures in this world? Okay, this is what I'd want to pick. So I'll go
マイ
with
ナ
it,
から
whatever
聞いて
that
ないの
is.
か。不確定だからだよ。
Or creatures in this world. You said, okay, so that stops it. Uncertain? That turns it on. Okay. And then I right click to stop. Okay. So save here. Why can't I save? I don't know. It's so weird. The user interface is all weird. Okay, I just overwrite this one. Yes. You put this there. Put the OCR window over this. See if it can translate two of those three. Who are you? Okay. Why are you in this world is probably the second one. So what's the middle one? Oh, I have to do this. What is the Chimera Club? Okay, so I'm going to load this. This is 60, right? What is the Chimera Club is the second one. And pick as my choice, why are you in this world? That seems to be the best question. Why are you in this world? Also those guys with the SMGs from earlier.
もちろん目的がある。だが、今、お前に話す時ではない。
Of course I have a purpose, but now is not the time to tell you. Shinkuro continued answering my questions without moving an eyebrow. Due to the darkness, it was difficult to read his face. Okay. I have no idea what he's thinking.
他に聞きたいことはないのか？
Is there anything else you'd like to ask? Shinkuro urges me. What do I do now?
すべてを。
Everything. What about this world?
ああ、そうだ。何もかもな。
Oh, that's right. Everything. Who are you?
その問いには、もう答えたはずだ。
I think I've already answered that
志村
question.
クラブの現主催。名前はシンクローだと。
The current leader of the Shimura Club. Name is Shinkuro. Huh? Shinkuro gave a disdainful smile and said,
All is vanity. それが答えだ。
Okay, will it skip now? Yes, okay. Okay, stop skipping. Whoa, you skipped again. Okay. The skip is so weird the way it behaves. I finally found it, but it's weird. I found you, but you're weird. Okay, so I picked this one. Why are you in this world? Okay, I'm gonna skip.
もちろん目的がある。
Now right click to stop skipping instead of hitting skip again to stop skipping. There we go. Okay, so this one is the weight per bolt. And we have 45 kilo or 450 kilo. So I believe this was 45 kilo was the answer, so I'm going to pick it again. But I want to put a save. This is save number... I only have 64 slots, huh? 61. So, okay. That's interesting. So we're gonna run out of slots. I'll get to, basically we'll just stop dropping save, and we'll go all the way to an ending. That's how it's gonna work ultimately. So save. 45 kilos. Or we're gonna start getting rid of silly choices. About 45 kilos. Okay, skipping. Okay, right click to stop it. There we go. Right click to save. There we go. So this is where to look for the, where to look for the thing. It's like a pendant or something. And the top is the entrance, I believe. The top one's the entrance, the Iraguchi. And the second one is the stairs. We're gonna pick the stairs. Take a look at the emergency stairs. And that stops, and then hitting it again skips. And then right click stops. Okay. So now I forgot which one is this. So, save. So what's the top one? I untie the string that is tied to it. It's like a talisman. Then I return to Mew. Okay, that's the correct answer, so we'll continue from it. Okay, we're at Krop. So we're talking to various people, right? Trying to talk to the Mirage members. Last save. Wait, so why am I using 64 already? Oh. 63 is part of the search. And then the top one is correct. And the bottom one is incorrect. That's all I know. Okay. And 64. That's the one I picked. So what is this? I saw the boy was standing next to Yu in front of me, so I immediately called out to him. Okay, I would load. So one is the boy, which we know from playing this is named Tongo. The middle one is Yu, right? Yeah, talking to Yu should be correct. Yeah, so that's is Yu in the middle, and then you can try talking to Yu at the bottom, which is funny. I don't know what that would do for me, but... So are we going to Rebrock now or something? Okay. So we ran out of saves. So we're just gonna go 65. Looks like a castle. You have yes and no. Like last time, we're going to pick yes. You can live as you want, there's no one watching you, isn't it great? Okay. Save this. In slot 64. 64 will get overwritten by a bunch of things. Yes, but it is choice number 66, really. So let's see what the other choice is. Well, I think it's good.
この世界もダメなところばかりじゃない。そのことが分かってきたようですね。
Okay, so now let's see if I try to skip, will it let me? So this world isn't all bad, it seems you kind of understand that. I just think it's nice to have this kind of freedom sometimes.
頭固いな。そのうちやみつきになるよ。
So it does stop on unread. Good. Renmaru, you're stubborn, you'll get addicted to it soon. That's right.
ここには学校もなければ親も教師もいない、警察もいないし法律もない。人間が人間らしく生きられる場所、覚えとけ。
There are no schools, no parents, no teachers here, there are no police or laws, a place where humans can live like humans. Remember this. It's a world that seems to be picking a fight with modern society.
そう、ここはもっと新しい理想郷なんだ。
That's right, this is a new utopian place. Utopian.
さて、次を案内するからついてきて。
Okay, I'll show you the next step, so follow me. Does it let me skip now? No, it doesn't. You said that and started walking. Or you said that and started walking.
ここがし、
Yeah, it doesn't let me skip. Okay, this is a bedroom.
便利だからこの百貨店の家具売り場を使わせてもらってるけど、その気になればどこにだって住めるんだよ。
Okay, we've already seen
大
this
富豪
line,
の豪
right?
邸だろうと。
I am allowed to use the furniture section of this department store because it's convenient, but if I wanted to, I could live anywhere, even in a millionaire's mansion. Okay, now skips. Okay. So where should I go in the department store? So let's save. So 66 was the Utopia bad good or whatever. Okay, 67 is where to go in store. So this is... No. Don't do such perverted things. Oh, that's the girls' restroom. Even if you say there's no one, Mirage, Mew, and mine are still there. If I were to be found, I might be left alone. I don't want to die alone and lonely in such a bleak world. So what do I do? Shut up, you worldly desires. Don't pollute my thoughts as a gentleman. I desperately suppress my suspicious feelings that rose up inside me. Okay, let's go ask. The Mirage gods are still piling up. Call out to be a nearby Mirage member. Okay. Oh. For some reason this wasn't saved.
この世界もダメなと
What's the top thing? No. Okay, so some sort of 3 girls things that it's unclear what they are. Okay, then it's go see Mirage or whatever it is. Or whatever. Floor 68. Not gonna put a save for this, I'm just gonna pick one of these. There's almost no hesitation. I was a little curious about the women's locker room. Oh, okay. But I think I should think about escaping from this world. I decided to get as much information as possible and return to the normal world as soon as possible. Okay, Mirage gods are still piling up. Drinking Rotomone. Yeah, the purple-haired lady has a Sprite. Okay, so then 69 is Have You Kissed? Yes. No. So I can say yes and blow the exclusivity, but maybe she'll be less disappointed. I don't know how. Or I can hit no and make it so that, you know, you could have me and only me. You could be mine, my only ever. But then she gets disappointed because she has no experience, which doesn't make any sense to me, whatever. There is.
どんな感じ？ドキドキするの？
Or I have. What does it feel like? Does it make your heart race? There are times when I'm nervous.
ない時もあるのか？
There are times when it's not there. What does that mean?
こ
Well,
ういう状況できっとやるんだよね。
in this situation, I'm sure you'll do it, right? Do you want to play with me?
それは断るけど、よくわかんないからそういうの。
I refuse, but I don't really understand it, so that's what it is. You've been so easy to refuse from now on. Do you want to create a good atmosphere or not?
したくない。けど知りたい。いろんなこと。いや、したい。
So she's all undecided. I don't want to, but I want to know. There are many things. No, I want to...
経験したい。自分のわからないことをもっとたくさん。そういうことよ。
I want to experience more things that I don't know. That's what it is. What do you mean?
レンマルにはわからないこと。
Things that Rimmaru doesn't understand. By the way, what does it feel like to be on a spaceship?
外見ればわかるよ。
You can tell by looking. Okay. Does this skip? Yep. I wonder why quick saves there, but there's no choice. Okay. So then number 70. Drink orange juice or drink Rotomone. Now, I would still try the Rotomone because apparently Mew likes it. So I'm going to keep picking drink the Rotomone. Even though that's like... Okay. Save on top. Now, what are these choices? Choice number 71 for me. Are you okay? Is there things to say to Chisato?
何が？
What? It's about noon at the Kiridera with the gun.
ああ。胸に3発。やってくれるわよね、キリデラのやつ。
Oh, he'll give me 3 shots to the chest, the Kiridera guy. Then why are you here?
さあ、なんでかしら。とにかく助かったのよ。死ななかったの。
I wonder why. Anyway, I was saved. I didn't die. You'll understand when you see it. Chisato seems to know everything. Tell me, what is this world? Can we return to our original world? Okay, I like that choice, so I'll just kind of stick with it. So, I don't know what the center one is, but the last one would be... What do you know? The top one is, are you okay? It's like, I was shot, but yeah, I survived, so it's fine. Okay, so it did let me skip, but I had to double tap it. Still don't know if the stop on red is working. They talk to Mew. Okay, so here's the big one. Yes. So here's what's different. I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to cooperate with Mirage. Now, it should not let me skip. Let's confirm that to be the case.
やっぱりそうなんだ。
Correct. It does not let me skip. Oh, I'm planning on doing it, but as expected, that's right. I noticed that Mew looked strangely lonely in response to my reply, but didn't say anything. At that time, some of the group said, "Whoa," they cheered. Under the cheers, the members gathered like a swarm. Should be skippable. Okay. So, what are these options? Top one is... Well, you gotta save first before I start choosing. No, I should stop it. With Mew's attitude, I think she'll listen to me now. Running after him any further would actually have the opposite effect. What? I guess I'll have to wait and see. Thinking so, I decided to wait until Mew calmed down. I don't get that, but okay. Go to Mew. Talk to Yu. Talk to Tongo. Talk to Mina. I guess I'll repeat mute. Go to Yu. Go to Tongo. Go to Mina. Okay, Mew's making soup. Fight thing. Drops down. Okay, let's see what this is. So the top choice was, hey Mew, will care for my wound too, okay? The bottom choice is, hey, can I help you with something? I like that better, so... Can I help you with something? I call it to Mew, but she seems to be busy.
いいよ邪魔だし
It's okay. I'm in the way, or you're in the way. It's fine, it's just getting in the way. However, Mew answered in a curt manner. Don't say that. Tell me anything. I'll help you. But I won't back down either. I wanted to make up with her somehow.
もう見てわかんないの忙しいの邪魔しないでくれる
Already? Can't you see I'm busy? Can you please don't interrupt me? Or not interrupt me? When Mew yelled at me like that, I had no choice but to back down as well. Mew's mood didn't seem to have improved as usual.
もうレンマルは邪魔なだけだからあっち行っててよ
Renmar was just a hindrance, so go away. Okay. Mew grabbed the bandages of medicine and ran towards the direction of a seriously ill patient who had not yet been treated. All I could do was stand there. Okay. Oh. Talking to Mina by the bench. You go in. You see this painting with Mina. So this is describing the photo, describing the painting, and I picked this one, right? And it said it looks like a woman. I'm going to continue with that choice. And I'm going to say yes skull, this is yes skull, or no skull. I'm gonna say yes skull again. So we get to talk with Kiradera about stuff. It probably has choices in it, doesn't it? Maybe it doesn't, I don't remember. I thought it would have choices in it. You're gonna slam into the divide ending again? Okay, we got the very temporary Chisato Machina. And use like you fail. And we get the end credits, right? Is there a way to skip this? Skip the credits? Escape. No, I'm stuck here having to watch the whole credits. Well, okay, so there is a lot of, like, a choice. There's about 76 choices to get to the last choice. And then there's a choice throughout up until from when you're looking at the painting in Kira, what's his name? Shinkuro's room with Mina until the end, there's no choices. And I hit the same ending as I did last time, despite making slightly different choices than last time in some spots. So that's kind of disappointing. These endings are very stable. It's going to be very difficult to figure out how to go to a different ending besides the one I got. Yeah, but I guess we could try decade iterating through these endings and trying to figure out what's different. My skip is still acting weird, even though I found that it seems to be Numpad Plus's skip. It's a weird, the ways the skip works seems to be weird. I don't know if it's actually stopping, if skipping red only, or not. Or whether or not that setting's stuck or not. Why does it have to, like, why are the credits not skippable? Okay, is this skippable? Yes. Yeah, that's the in divide ending. Now is where OCR is going to come into play, because I have not read these prompts the first time I got this ending. I don't know if I picked the wrong thing. So there's another reason why I brought the OCR up. Translate this. Well, OCR. You gonna do it? Try again. There we go. Do you want to save the system data? The answer is yes, I want to save my system data. And then what's this? The 12Riven file already exists. May we overwrite the file? Yes, we may overwrite the system data. And this is the system data is saved. I can actually read that without having to OCR it. Okay. So you want to hit yes and then yes to save the system data. Cool. So let's see if we can iterate on those choices and see if anything slightly different can happen at the end. Fortunately, we didn't say the last few, so because I ran out of save slots, so it's going to get kind of strange. So this is number 74. Can I help you with something, right? Now, let's pick something different here. Let's pick this, which is... It looks like a skull, right? So it's woman and then skull.
ドクロですか。それ以外には見えませんか？
A skull. Can you see anything else? Once I saw it was a skull, I couldn't see it as anything else. Since it's a trick art, there must be something other than a skull. However, I couldn't see anything other than a skull.
女性が鏡に向かっているようには見えませんか？
Doesn't it look like a woman facing the mirror? A woman? There are women? Oh! Maya told me so, and when I approached the painting, then I saw the woman's face. What I thought were the hollows of the skull's eyeballs turned out to be the back of the woman's head and her face reflected in the mirror. The skull of the skull was a mirror table. I guess like the cranium portion. Once I thought of it was a skull, I had a hard time seeing it in the other compositions until I broke that
そ
stereotype.
れにしても不思議ですよね。同じ一枚の絵なのに女性に見えたりドクロに見えたりするなんて。
Still, it's strange. Even though it's the same picture, it looks like a woman and sometimes it looks like a skull. Mine says this while looking at the picture seriously. And then I respond with, "That's right, it's a very mysterious picture."
ええ。
Yes. Okay, now that's not going to change my ending, I would think. Because that's just changing which one you're picking. Yeah, if I pick skull first, is that really going to change anything? Okay, it's the same. Doesn't matter if I describe the picture differently or not. Right? If I say it's a skull, it'll get killed instead. Well, actually, probably get killed either way. There's gotta be a way to skip this cutscene. Skip the credits or something. No, I have to sit here and watch the whole... Oh, okay. I managed to get... I said something skipped the credits. It was the plus. It was the, numpad plus, okay. That's still divide. Save the system data. Save the system data. Let's try doing something more different. Let's go back here. Do something funky. No, this is not back far enough. Okay, I have to go back further. $63. Hit this. Let's try this one, just because. Yeah. Talk to Mew. Mew. I was deep in thought. The man came up next to Mew. He seemed to be a member of Mirage, and he's a creepy guy in that sense.
君かわいいね高校生でしょどこの高校
You're cute, aren't you? You're a high school student, right? Which high school? Mew looks confused as the man approaches her. Then, watch out! Maya's foot came flying out of nowhere. The man who was hit with a flying kick was sent flying about 5 meters. Why are you that kind of person? Mina-san can't men like women? Mina flapped her skirt and showed off her proud expression.
そこ何揉めてるの
There, what are you looking at? The strange man at your place messed with Mew.
その男だ
Is that the man? This is the man. I point at the man, and she might be like, I like that guy. What's wrong with you
お
guys?
前はミラージュの風上にも置けないやつだ今晩ご飯抜け
You're the kind of person who can't even be placed upwind to Mirage. No food tonight. Yu scoffs at the reckless man. Gee whiz, people. Mirage?
そうだけど
Yes, but I took out a letter from my pocket and handed it to her playfully.
何これ
Or handed it to Yu. What is this? It's a Shimura club is run by this guy.
シンクロから
From Shinkuro? What I handed her was a letter I received from Shinkuro. Yu took it, unfolded the letter, and tore it up after reading it.
条件を飲まない限り停戦には合意できないそう伝えといて
Okay. Agree with her utopia thing.
この
Girls' locker room. Talk to Mirage guys. Do a no on her this time.
Huh.
I don't think that matters. Okay, try to drink the Rotomone. I'm curious what the center choice in this is. So I'm gonna choose it. What did you do earlier? Science the Guardian. Was that also Sai?
この世界ではサイは使えない。
No, Sai cannot be used in this world. Then how?
現世界でセキュリティセンターのメインサーバーにハッキングを仕掛けたの。時間が来たら止まるようにセットしておいただけ。
In the current world, I hacked into the main server of the security center. Just set it to stop when the time comes. The current world. Can you go back? Chisato seems to know everything. Tell me, what is it? Okay. Chisato just... I just hacked it. Okay, I'm going to cooperate with Mirage. Now, here's the weird thing I want to do. I want to say no. There's no way to do that, right? There's no reason to cooperate in the first place.
じゃあ志村クラブに着くの？
I'm going to join the Chimera Club, and I'm going to say, yes, I am. That might be good.
何それ？主体性がない返事。
What is that? A reply that lacks independence. That's why we're not Mirage members or members of the Chimera Club. If I had to say it, I'd probably go for the one that's closest to the way to return to the original world.
やっぱ主体性ないな。
I guess you don't have any independence after all. In response to my answer, Mew's cheeks puffed out. At that time, some of the group said, "Whoa," they cheered. Under the cheers, the members gathered like a swarm. Okay. See if that, like, makes my relationship with Mew just tank. Let's do something weird here. Let's talk to Tongo. Tongo, are you okay?
レンマル大丈夫ですよこのくらい。
Romaru, I'm okay. This much. Tongo says he tries to stand up. However, when he stumbled and was about to fall, I hurriedly supported him. Hey, it's not good at all.
いやお恥ずかしい。
No, it's embarrassing. Though, why don't you say anything after being treated like that?
だってユユの言ってることは正しいですからね。自分が間違ってたんですから当然の報いです。
Because what Yu said is correct. I was wrong, so I deserve the punishment. Now, as Mew said, even if you don't use a gun, you can still hurt people with a steel pipe or bat, right?
レンマルさん、そいつは違う。そいつは違いますよ。
Maru-san, that's different. That's
ユユ
different.
も言ってたけど、この世界は理想郷なんです。
As Yu said, this world is a utopia.
間違ってたのは前の世界で、この世界こそ本来あるべき姿なんです。
The previous world was wrong, and this world is the way it should be.
前の世界で毎年どれだけの数の人が事件事故で亡くなっていたか分かりますか？
Do you know how many people died every year in incidents and accidents in the previous world? It's an interesting question. I haven't actually figured out the answer to. What's the relative death toll when you fight with guns? When nations fight with guns and when they don't? We like to say then that in the contemporary world, in war, we kill people less, right? Because we don't have like these grids of people coming at each other, slaughtering each other row by row. We've done most efficiently with guns, by the way. It's just that they were very poor quality guns that didn't aim well, so you had to get really close to use them. But like, if you look at the raw numbers of who died in World War II, they're very, 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 very high. That being said, that includes the use of nuclear weapons. And you need to an argument can be made that you should think relative to the fighting populations, not just the raw number itself. Like apparently World War I, Europe lost an entire generation's worth of people. And so the more primitive warfare, still had guns in World War I, but they were not as good, was more deadly relatively. And you could say, okay, like how war was done in the ancient world is someone wanted your stuff, so they would roll in, they would kill every single one of the men in the city, and they would take the remaining women as sex slaves. So, like, the death toll to the losing side was like 100%. Anyway. Whether or not this whole guns are the problem thing has any merit is unclear in a wide sense. Now, maybe in this one specific sense, that in this particular game, where there's like a gang of people fighting another gang of people, yeah, in this one instance that's being described here in this plot, if they did use guns, way more people would die than if they didn't. I'll give it that.
戦後の不始末で残された時代で犠牲になった人の数は
How many people died from landmines left behind after the war?
親から受けた虐待で亡くなった子供の数は
How many children died from abuse at the hands of their parents? What does that have to do with guns?
差別やいじめで自殺した人の数は
How many people committed suicide due to discrimination and bullying? Well, the guy with the yellow hair, I mean, he didn't, you know. Anyway.
そういう人たちが毎年どれだけの数亡くなっていたのか
Do you know how
あ
many
なたに
people
分か
like
りますか
that? Do you know how many people like that die every year? No.
汚いことをして私腹を肥やす大人たちがどれだけいたことか
How many adults have done dirty things to enrich their own pockets?
僕はねレンマル大人たちがいないこの世界だからこそ僕らにできることがあると思ってます
As for me, Renmaru, I think there are things we can do because there are no adults in this
この
world.
世界ならそういう汚いものを全部リセットして再び始められるんです
In this world, they can reset all those dirty things and start again. Yeah, but you're using the same people of the same nature. They're going to end up doing the same thing.
この世界が前の世界みたいに腐ってしまうか理想郷として生まれ変わるか僕たちにかかってるんです
It's up to us whether this world will rot like the previous one or be reborn as a utopia.
だから僕はユユに従うんですよ
That is why I follow Yuyu. Tango.
大丈夫僕らならきっとうまくできますから
It's okay. I'm sure we can do it well. I don't know what Tango's backstory is, and I don't know if he's like super smitten with Yuyu or something. Tango's straight gaze as he passionately speaks. There was certainly no sense of deceit in those eyes, as he makes a good false prophet. But being so infatuated with it and believing in it blindly is tantamount to insanity. I found that naivety frightening. But he did go get the gun. Exactly where did Mew go? A lot of time has passed since then. I thought it was about time for the heat to cool down, so I walked around the park looking for Mew.
いらっしゃいいらっしゃい。はいはいそこ押さないの。大丈夫。そんな慌てなくてもみんなの分ちゃんとあるからね。
So she's serving the soup, right? So fight same as before. You get in a fight with Chisato. Do the bad choice.
どこを怪我
Pick this silly choice. Oh, he's picking both. Okay. So that's not necessarily the bad one, it's just a third possible choice. It looks like a woman facing a mirror and also a skull.
でも同時に見ることはできない違いますか
But you can't see them at the same time, is that wrong? At the same time, that's certainly true. It only looks like one or the other.
女性を見ている時にはドクロは見えないし、ドクロを見ている時には女性は見えない。
You can't see a skull when you're looking at a woman, and you can't see a woman when you're looking at a skull.
頭の中で確実にスイッチを切り替えているはずです。
I'm sure you flipped the switch in your head. Flip the switch?
世の中にはその切り替えが得意な人と苦手な人がいます。
Okay, Mina says there are people in this world who are good at switching things up and people that are not. And I always thought the ones who are good are called women and the ones that are not are called men. And my taskbar just crashed just now, and so now I have to move it between everything by alt tabbing. Or my Windows Explorer crashed. Microsoft still has not fixed that. Okay. And then the game, give me that back.
.ほんの0コンマ数秒の間隔で切り替えられる人もいるし、一度どちらかの像が見えてしまったらずっとその像を振り払うことができない人もいるんです。
Some people can switch between images at intervals of just a few tenths of a second, and some people can't shake off the image forever once they see one image or the other.
例えば女性が見えてしまったらずっと女性に、ドクロが見えてしまったらずっとドクロに見えてしまうってことです。
For example, if you see a woman, it will always look like a woman. If you see a skull, it will always look like a skull.
レンマル君は両方に見えるって答えたから、きっと切り替えが得意なタイプなんでしょうね。
When Maru-kun answered, I see both ways, so I'm sure he's the type who's good at switching. Maybe so.
でも繰り返しになりますが、同時には見えないんです。どうしてだかわかりますか？
But again, I can't see them at the same time. Do you know why? Come on.
自我による認識の処理能力には限界があるからです。
This is because there's a limit to the ego's ability to process recognition. Well, that's not really saying much there. This is because the ego's processing capacity is limited. Limit of processing power?
それにしても不思議ですよね。同じ一枚の絵なのに女性に見えたりドクロに見えたりするなんて。
Still, it's strange. Even though it's the same picture, it looks like a woman and sometimes it looks like a skull. Maya says this while looking at the picture seriously. By the way, I don't understand this conversation. Does this conversation make sense to any of you? To me, it's just like, once you see it both ways, it's both ways. Let's answer the weird way. Is that so?
不思議だと思いませんか？
Don't you think it's strange? Not really.
では、例えばこの絵をもっと抽象的な感じにしたとします。女性なのかドクロなのか分かりにくくするってことです。
So, for example, let's say you make this picture more abstract. You want to make it difficult to tell whether it's a woman or a skull.
そしてその絵を複数の人に見せます。見せて一つお願いをするんです。
Then I show the picture to multiple people. I show it to them and ask them for one thing. Please?
はい。この絵に描かれているものを描いてくださいと。
Yes, please draw what is depicted in the picture. I listened to Maya's words, trying to find out what she was trying to say.
そうするとどういう結果が出ると思いますか？
If you do that, what do you think will be the result? If it were an abstract and difficult to understand painting, I think it would be split evenly between those who draw a woman and those who draw skulls.
ほら、不思議でしょ？
See, isn't it strange? Mysterious. I finally understood what Maya was trying to say. Even though it's the same picture, the meaning that can be derived from the picture is different.
意味と言ってもいいですし、記号と言ってもいいでしょう。
You can call it a meaning or you can call it a symbol. Symbol?
絵とは記号の集合体なんです。さらに突き詰めて考えれば、私たちが見ている光景や映像は全て記号の集合体だと言っても過言ではありません。
Did I read this before?
私たちが何かを見る。例えば、私たちは猫そのものを見ているわけではないのです。
Wait, I know I didn't. Okay, I can't skip this. We see something, for example, we see a cat. When we see a cat, we recognize that it's a cat. And that's only because we perceive the symbol of a cat. We are not looking at the cat itself. A quote from Kant, things themselves cannot be recognized. They're only things that are thought about. This was understandable. And I was able to experience it, albeit just a little bit.
この絵はさっき言ったクオリアの話とも関係しています。
This picture is also related to the Qualia story I mentioned earlier. What about
ある
that?
人が感じている赤の感覚と別の人が感じている赤の感覚は違うのかもしれません。
The sensation of red that one person feels may be different from the sensation of red that another person feels. Okay, it's skippable now. Huh. So that's the last choice, by the way. But interesting that that's the correct thing to choose, is that you see both. Well, I don't know if it's correct. I'm just presuming because it gives you the longest explanation from Mina, and you say that you understand it at the end of the explanation. That's kind of correct coding. Okay. Okay, so now that I know that that's kind of the correct choice for that last bit, is there a way to, like, perhaps try to do a perfect run at the end here? We'll do this. So Yu is what we want, who we want to put the give the letter to. So it's a castle.
色も白いし、
I think we'll agree with Utopia for now.
この
That may not be actually the best choice. Oh, I can't skip this. Don't do perverted things. They're all there. Find me there, they might leave me alone. I might die alone in this bleak world. Which I do, and you talk to Mirage. Let's deny kissing.
本当に？
Try drinking the Rotomone. Are you okay, primarily?
な
Oh, the middle one, the embarrassed now is hacking the bots in the middle. This is what the middle choice is. Okay. So, I'm going to try to talk to Mew, but it's not going to work. They're going to say, we're not going to cooperate with Mirage, because she wants independence, right? No, she wants to be independent response. How could that be?
それじゃあ黙って見てるつも
Then are you planning on watching silently? Oh, we have this choice now. Okay, let's put this in the 64 slot. What's this choice? Is that bad? Okay, this is the one I made originally. Let's see what that does.
別に悪くはないけどなんかちょっと
It's not bad, but it's a bit... Wait, what is it? Selfish. At that time, some of the group said, whoa, and they cheered. Okay. Let's reload this. What's this one? No way, I'll stop the
どうやっ
battle.
て
How? How? Sorry, I wasn't thinking anything.
まったく行き当たりばったりなんだから
It's completely random. That was too bad, I didn't think about it. I couldn't help but cringe at Mew's words. At that time, some of the group said, Okay. I don't think that works well, but maybe that's not... I don't think there's really a good way to... Is there a good way to do that conversation? Let's try this. Talk to Mina. We were both sitting on the grass. There's only about 15 centimeters between me and Mina. Under the slightly cool night air, I was close enough that I could even feel Mina's body temperature. The time was around 11 p.m. It's already been half a day since I was sent to this world. I'm really tired. Too many things have happened in the past 12 hours.
レンマル君はどう思いますか？この12時間長かったと？それとも短かったと？
What do you think, Renmaru-kun? Do you think these 12 hours were long or short? They were long, I guess. Last week or a month ago or a year ago, compared to 12 hours somewhere, it's overwhelmingly dense and there are so many things I have to think about that I'll die. So many things have happened. My body's exhausted.
そうなんですよね。
That's right. Mina answers my words.
いろんなことが起こった方が時間を短く感じるって、あれ嘘だと思いません？
Don't you think it's a lie that the more things happen, the shorter time feels? Huh?
私むしろ逆だと思うんです。
I think it's actually the opposite. Does it feel longer when a lot of things happen?
ええ、例えば退屈な時間は遅く感じる、楽しい時間は早く過ぎ去ると一般的には言われることが多いみたいですが、これって本当でしょうか？
Yes, for example, it seems that people often say that boring times feel slow and fun times go by quickly, but is this true? Everyone's sense of time is different, and unless you can peer into someone else's head, there's no way to know how they feel, right?
多が問題ですね。おっしゃる通り。
It's a problem of otherness, as you said. Nina nods with satisfaction at my words.
時間の感覚はクオリア。私の見ている赤と他人の見ている赤は全く別の感覚として経験されているのかもしれません。
The sense of time is qualia. The red that I see and the red that others see may be experienced as completely different sensations.
例えば仕事をしている2時間、映画を見ている2時間、好きな人と過ごす2時間、その3つのうちどの2時間が一番早く感じるでしょう？
For example, 2 hours working, 2 hours watching a movie, 2 hours spent with someone you like. Which 2 hours of these 3 will feel the fastest? I wonder.
レンマル君は高校生だから最初の2時間については授業といった方がイメージしやすいかもしれませんね。
When
以降は
Maru-kun
あくまでも私個人の主観なのですが、
is a high school student, so it might be easier to imagine the first 2 hours as classes. After that, it's just your personal
仕事
opinion.
をしている2時間はあっという間に過ぎてしまいます。本当に頭がおかしくなってしまったんじゃないかと思うほど超絶爆裂的な速度で過ぎ去っていくように思えます。
The 2 hours I spend working go by in the blink of an eye. It seems to go by at such an incredible explosive speed that I wonder if my mind has really gone crazy.
ちょっと考え事をしていただけで2時間なんてあっという間ですから。
I was just thinking for a while, and 2 hours went by in a blink of an eye.
昔は映画を見ている2時間はその内容が面白ければ面白いほどあっという間だったなという感覚があったのですが、
In the past, the more interesting the content of the 2 hours spent watching a movie, the more I felt like it went by in the blink of an eye.
今はどれだけ面白くても仕事をしている2時間よりは長く感じます。
No matter how interesting it is now, it feels longer than the 2 hours I spent working. I still feel like it's time to watch a movie.
そうですね。
That's right. Minus says and smiles.
こんな話を知人にすると、それだけ仕事が充実してるってことだよなんて言われたりするのですが、果たしてそうでしょうか？
When I talk to friends about this, they say things like, that just means you have a fulfilling job. Is that really true?
充実ってそういうことを言うんでしょうか？
Is that what it means by, or they mean by fulfillment?
確かに仕事をしている間の集中力は尋常じゃないものがあるかもしれません。けれど何かが起こるわけではないのです。イベントはゼロ、感情の起伏もほとんどない。
It's true that my concentration while working may be unusual, but that doesn't mean anything will happen. There are 0 events. There is almost no emotional ups and downs.
視界に映るのは青いディスプレイと活字のみ。
All I can see is the blue display and type.
2時間の間に移動する場所といえばトイレとポットの前だけ。動いているのは指先と貧乏ゆすりの足だけ。繰り返しになりますが何も起こらないのです。
The only places I move during the 2 hours are the toilet, spelled out in katakana tuil, and in front of the pot, spelled out in katakana pato no mae, or pato in katakana no mae and other scripts. I presume that's the coffee pot she's talking about. The only things that move are my fingertips and my poor feet. Again, nothing happens. It's kind of weird because, I presume it says the coffee pot because, I have to say that because I think, like, northeastern United States people tend to like to call the toilet the pot, and it gets based off the idea of the chamber pot. They like to call facial tissue Scotties, right? You get that kind of lingo, that kind of northeast lingo. So the toilet and in front of the pot to them would sound like the pot and in front of the pot. Or the toilet and in front of the toilet. The only thing that moves are my fingertips and my poor feet. Again, nothing happens.
何も、何一つ。
Nothing. Nothing.
充実ってそういうことだと思いますか？
Do you think that's what fulfillment means? What do I think? Something feels different.
じゃあ比較のために好きな人と会っている2時間について考えてみましょう。
Now, for comparison, let's think about 2 hours spent meeting someone you like. Mina, are you dating someone?
付き合ってる人ですか？
Why did not pick up? Huh? Are you dating someone? Yeah.
いませんよ。
They're not here, is what she says, right?
いないけど想像することならできます。好きな人と会っている2時間。きっとその2時間の間にはびっくりするほどいろんなことが起こるんでしょう。
I don't have one, she says. But I can imagine 2 hours spent with the person you love. I'm sure a surprising amount of things will happen during those 2 hours.
楽しいことがあったり、腹の立つことがあったり、新しい発見があったり、
Sometimes I have fun. Some things make me angry, and I make new
とに
discoveries.
かく良くも悪くもいろんな刺激がたくさんある。その刺激に喚起されて様々なことを考え、思い、悩み、感じる。
There are so many different kinds of stimuli, good or bad. Those stimuli arouse me and make me think, feel, worry, and feel all kinds of things.
どちらかといえばこちらの方が充実と呼ぶにふさわしいとは言えないでしょうか。
If anything, wouldn't you say that this is a more suitable to be called wouldn't this be more suitable to be called
だと
fulfillment?
したら
If that's the
仕
case,
事をしている2時間に比べて好きな人と会っている2時間の方が圧倒的に濃密だということになります。
compared to 2 hours spent working, 2 hours spent with someone you like is much more intense.
当然その2時間の中で記憶される情報量も後者の方が多くなります。
Naturally, the amount of information stored in the latter 2 hours will be greater.
経験され蓄積される情報量が多いのですから、この2時間は通常よりも長く感じるはずなのです。
Because there is so much information to be experienced and accumulated, these 2 hours should feel longer than usual. I see. If you think about it, only the perspective of the amount of information accumulated, you can certainly say that.
ねえ。でも退屈な時間は遅く感じる。楽しい時間は早く過ぎ去る。
Yes, but boring time feels slow and fun time passes quickly.
こちらの方が一般的に常識とされているのはなぜでしょうか。
Why is this generally considered common sense? Well, now I wonder why.
実は単純に言い回しが適切でないから、それだけのことなのです。
Actually, it's simply because the wording is not appropriate.
少なくとも私はそう思います。次のように言い方を変えると、おそらく納得していただけるのではないでしょうか。
At least that's what I think. If you rephrase it like this, you'll probably understand.
早く過ぎ去ってほしい時間は長く感じる。過ぎ去ってほしくない時間は早く感じる。
Time that I want to pass quickly feels longer. Time that I don't want to pass feels faster.
これだと仕事をしている時間は締め切りに追われていれば追われているほど過ぎ去ってほしくない時間となるため、超速で感じるのは当然になります。
In this case, the more you are chased by deadlines, the more time you don't want to pass. So it's natural that the time you spend working will feel super
つま
fast.
り個人の時間感覚にとって楽しいか楽しくないか、退屈か退屈じゃないか、充実しているか否かというのは直接的には関係がないということです。
In other words, whether it is fun or not, whether it is boring or not, whether it is fulfilling or not, has no direct relation to an individual's sense of time.
もっとも楽しい時間イコール過ぎ去ってほしくない時間となるのが普通なので、間接的な要因にはなるでしょうけれど。
However, it is normal that fun time equals time you don't want to pass, so it may be an indirect factor. But I hear that age has something to do with it.
L 分の t の法則ですか？
Is it the law of T over L?
ある時間 t をどれぐらいの長さに感じるかは、その人の全人生の時間 L に反比例すると言います。
It is said that how long a certain time T feels is inversely proportional to the total time L of a person's life.
つまり L 分の t がその人の感じる時間の感覚に関係しているってことです。
In other words, T over L is related to the person's sense of time.
例えば
For example,
4歳の子供にとっての1年は4分の1イコール 0.25 イコール 25%。
1 year for a 4-year-old child is 1 quarter or 0.25 or 25%.
20歳の青年にとっての1年は20分の1イコール 0.05 イコール 5%。
1 year for a 20-year-old youth is 1/20th or 0.05 or 5%.
40歳の壮年にとっての1年は40分の1イコール 0.025 イコール 2.5%。
1 year for a 40-year-old is 1 out of 40 or 0.025 or 2.5%.
そうして加齢とともにある時間が人生の中で占める割合は減っていく。
As we get older, the proportion of time in our lives decreases.
4歳児にとっての1年は全人生の 25% にも達する。
1 year for a 4-year-old accounts for 25% of their entire life.
当然次の1年もそのぐらい長いのだろうと彼は予測する。
Naturally, he predicts that the next year will be that
だけ
long.
ど5歳になった時彼の1年は全人生の 20% に減っている。
However, when he turns 5 years old, his year is reduced to 20% of his entire life.
10歳になった時には 10% に、20歳になった時には 5% に。
When you turn 10 years old, it becomes 10%, and when you turn 20-year-old, it becomes 5%. Based on this, let's say you live to 80 years, right? Well, let's say, when will you have experienced something that you perceive to be the amount of time that will be half your life? Right. Well, you probably have to integrate 1 over L, 1 over. Oh. Oh, why did I get myself into this? What am I getting myself into here? Yeah. So. The total time perceived, right, is the integral from 0 to your lifetime of the time period, so dt over your how much you've lived so far at each time, so it's like over t. And you can't, that's not, doesn't converge from time 0, which makes sense, right? So you have to chop off, say, your childhood amnesia, so chop off the first couple of years of your life, right? So you'd integrate from like 2 to your lifetime of 1 over t dt, which would be natural log of how long you live minus how long natural log of 2, basically some constant, right? So if you want to figure out when you've experienced half your life already, it would be whatever ln of whatever that length is, that half-life, minus ln of 2 is equal to 1/2 that's really unstable because that depends on how big your childhood amnesia interval is, because you end up with a half of your childhood amnesia interval in there is somewhere. Which, yeah, that's rough. Anyway, I didn't actually end up solving it. Because it actually depends on your childhood amnesia interval really strongly, so it doesn't make any sense to solve it. It's kind of a silly idea.
100歳まで生きれば1年は彼の人生にとってわずか 1% の出来事に過ぎない。つまり加齢とともに時間の流れを早く感じるって話ですね。
If you live to be 100 years old, 1 year will be only 1% of your life. In other words, as you get older, you feel time pass faster. That's right, that's it. You slam right into your death.
ここからはオカルトっぽい話なのですが、
From here on, it's going to be an occult-like story. After saying so, Mina continues, although it for some reason translates to after saying no. With that refusal, Mina continues.
もしも仮に地球上の全人類の思考速度が一様に遅くなっているとしたらどうでしょう。
What if the thinking speed of all humans on Earth were uniformly slowed down? Well, then you would get Radical 6.
その場合にも人々は口々に言うことになります。
This is where that idea started, I guess, maybe. Even if in that case people will say it out loud.
最近時間が過ぎるのを早く感じるようになってねと。4歳児、5歳児、10歳の子供、20歳の青年、40歳の壮年、100歳の老人。
Recently, I've started to feel that time passes faster. 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds, young men, 40-year-olds in their prime. 40 is prime. That's supposed to be encouraging sounding, but it's not true. And 100-year-olds.
全人類の思考速度が一様に遅くなっているのだから、この場合にもみんなが時間の流れを早く感じたとしても不思議ではないはずです。
Since the thinking speed of all human beings is uniformly slowing down, it is no wonder that everyone feels that time passes faster in this case as well.
では思考速度が遅くなるとはどういうことでしょう。
Then what does it mean when your thinking speed slows down? If you think of it in the same way as the CPU clock frequency decreases, it means the calculation processing speed slows down, right?
その通り。
That's right.
すなわち単位時間における思考の総量が減るということに他なりません。
In other words, it means the total amount of thinking per unit time
この
decreases.
場合リンゴが落ちる光景は以前よりも早く見えるはずですし、そればかりではなく周りで起こるさまざまな運動の様子が全て早送りに見えるでしょう。
In this case, the sight of an apple falling will appear to be faster than before, and not only that, but the various movements occurring around it will all appear to be in fast forward. That's... Through this conversation with Mina, the puzzle of images that have been scattered in my head begins to take on a meaningful form once again. I remembered the moment right before I was sent to this world with Mew. And at that time, we were looking at the world as if it had gone into slow motion. Yeah, I guess we were sent into fast forward. Maybe the world we perceive is in slow motion. In other words, our thinking speed at that time was tremendously fast.
Eh?
Huh? No, it's nothing. Maya looked at me strangely, but I pretended to smile. Speaking of slow motion, you would probably say that people who have been in an accident feel like their surroundings are in a slow motion, right? Why do you think that happened?
それは
That's...
自分の生命の危機が迫った時、その瞬間だけ人間は限界を超えて思考速度を速めるのではないかと。
I think that when a person's life is in danger, for that moment, humans go beyond their limits and speed up their thinking.
我が身を守るため超速で思考を回転させて、取るべき姿勢、体勢、受け身、事故後のこと、両親のこと、恋人のこと、明日の試験のこと、怪我をしたらあれが不便になるなとか。
In order to protect myself, I think about my posture. I think about what posture I should take. I think about how passive I am, what to do after the accident, about my parents and my lover, about tomorrow's exam. If I get injured, that will be inconvenient.
そういったことを一瞬で思考するために全てをスローモーに経験するんではないでしょうか。
In order to think about such things in an instant, don't you experience everything in slow motion? I see, that makes sense.
その体験には脳の中の消化体という器官が関係していると言われているのをご存知ですか？
Did you know that this experience is said to be related to an organ in the brain called the pineal gland? Huh?
消化体は第三の目とも言われている器官で、光に非常に敏感な器官だといいます。特定の波長の光を見ることで痙攣発作を起こす。あれも消化体の過剰反応によるものです。
Oh no, my volume control doesn't work because Windows Explorer is gone. Okay, the pineal gland is an organ that's also called the third eye, and it is said to be extremely sensitive to light. When exposed to a light at a certain wavelength, seizures can occur, and this is also due to the overreaction of the pineal gland.
人間の睡眠にも深く関わっていると言われていて、睡眠リズム、つまり時間感覚すら司っているとも。
It is said to be deeply involved in human sleep and sleep rhythm. In other words, it even controls the sense of time.
体内時計を調節し、外実リズムを刻む。その消化体に刺激を与えると、シナプスが興奮して、連鎖反応的に脳の隅々まで伝播します。
When you stimulate the pineal gland, which regulates the body's internal clock and carves out circadian rhythms, the synapses become excited, which spreads to every corner of the brain in a chain reaction.
結果、脳が覚醒するわけですが、それによって脳の機能は格段に向上するのです。
As a result, the brain becomes more awake, which significantly improves brain function. I see. The speed of thought becomes extremely fast, and as a result, what? I see. So the speed of thought becomes incredibly fast, and as a result, you experience the phenomenon of slow motion.
その通りです。
That is right.
さすがレンマル君は理解が早いですね。ちなみに、消化体は魂の座であると言います。
As expected, Rimaru-kun is quick to understand. By the way, the pineal gland is said to be the seat of the soul.
まあ、実際の魂がどこにあるかは別として、極めて重要な器官であることは確かでしょうね。
Now, regardless of where the actual soul is located, it's certainly an extremely important organ. You know so much.
ライフワークみたいなものですから、時間についてずっと考えてるんです。
It's like my life's work. I'm always thinking about time. You see, I'm a science fiction writer for these game companies, and I gotta keep thinking about time in order to come up with new ideas for new games. To make it the subject of a novel? Wow, I kind of read this. Okay. Mine answers my question with a somewhat lonely
さっき
smile.
付き合ってる人はいないって言ったでしょ？
You just said... You said earlier that you're not dating anyone, right? Well, I thought he said he was, but maybe I read it wrong. Like I do often.
でも、好きな人ならいるんです。
I guess it's... She said earlier she's not dating anyone, potentially. That's what she's talking about, because this one says, but there is someone I like. So that's it. Huh?
昔からずっと好きだった人。彼、約束してくれたんです。必ず会いに行くからって。だから私、その人のことを待ち続けて、今日まで。
The person I've loved for so long, he promised me I'll definitely come see you, so I kept waiting for that person until today. After saying that, Mina quietly snuggled up to me. She rests her head on my shoulder. What? Why is this happening? I guess there's someone you like? But it's not me, though. While I was confused, a strangely murderous gaze pierced through me. Got Mew. When I looked over Mina's shoulder, I saw Mew standing there. Mew is clenching her fists and shaking her shoulders. The moment I tried to explain, Mew ran away at a mad dash. Exactly where did Mew go? A lot of time passed since then. I thought it was about time for the heat to cool down, so I walked around the park looking for Mew.
いらっ
I think I might have flubbed a Mew-based ending, but let's continue. It seems to suggest that there's a Mina ending. I didn't know that that's what that would do. Anyway. Randomly, if you make that particular choice, you get this unique big long Mina speech. This is both, right?
でも、不思
Yeah, questions seem to be better. Okay, so I still got the divide ending, but I seem to learn there might be some sort of Mina type thing possible, like a Mina route based on that. So now there's something for me to find, just to see if I can learn just something different. So between here, there's a missing CG. So that's interesting. So you first talk to Shinkuro, and then you eventually you end up after that you end up doing a lot of things, right? Okay, but you eventually end up meeting meeting Yu in the carousel. But notice how there's two of them. So there's another version of this CG we don't have. That's interesting. And there's other ones around it, which is interesting. Are those the other characters potentially in the carousel? And this is all chopped up. There's this stuff in the middle here. Huh. So everything I have on the Narumi side is continuous, right? You got all of the ones until you get to the divide, right? Okay. Same thing for Renmaru, right? You get everything in a trunk. This stuff here doesn't happen until after the trunk. You're already in. Oh, there's another one on this that I didn't get. Okay. Oh, some of the flashback ones are missing. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, there's another one on the end of the string. Very interesting. Okay, so what did I accomplish here in this? How do I get back out of this backspace? Enter? No. Okay. So we managed to figure out that this is a little thing, but it really matters a lot. Figure out, it's hard because of the language barrier. That this setting is setting right here is skip until you stop on unread. So skip with the red only. I managed to kind of list out all the choices you'll get leading to the divide ending from the beginning, in which case I think there's approximately 76 ones, although you could get a 77th one depending on what you choose in the middle in there. You could get different stuff in the big Mina speech and so on. Maybe. I managed to learn that there probably is a Mina ending because there's so much Mina content that I didn't get because it's kind of under my nose. I didn't make those choices. But what's really odd is how stable the divide ending is, because I can change the choice, not the choices I pick entirely, but I can change them quite a bit, and I can avoid, but I can't avoid getting that particular ending. And that ending is listed on the ending list as the 4th ending of 8, which is interesting. It's not like at the bottom or the top. I wonder how much the order matters. So, despite the large quantity of endings, there being 8, although the route to 2 of them maybe may not unlock until you've gotten some other ones first. Like, maybe not to get a good ending on the Renmaru side as the Narumi side actually unlock. I've only managed to get just 1 of them. So, that's interesting and could be an indicator of likely future frustration. That's a bit scary. I might get really stuck in this game, we'll see. Sometimes I do. It's, Memories Off is what's one that's so far gotten the most stuck. The Infinity series hasn't been that bad to me. Like, Never 7 or Ever 17, Remember 11, I haven't gotten super stuck in any of those. Except when it comes to Remember 11 and getting every single little ending, that got a little sticky. I think in Never 7 I got some problems trying to get the good ending for Haruka. That was that girl's name. That was a little sticky if you remember that. But anyway, but that was a little sticky. Like, I didn't have tremendous trouble. Memories Off, that really gave me, that's still giving me trouble. I still haven't finished it. I got all the endings, but I can't even figure out how to get into one of the characters' routes again at the moment. It's really sticky. Anyway, This might get sticky. This might get problematic. We'll see. I think the next attempt I will make, I'll probably try to search out this Mina route and see if I can get into it and get at least a bad Mina ending, just so I can get a better sense of the structure of the whole game, how it's laid out, like what things can happen, and just read some different stuff. Anyway, if you watched that kind of boring thing, most of it was boring. There's a few new scenes in there, but most of it was boring. Thank you for watching it.